Lucky Lefty Podcast, Honora Boys. We are in the building and brought to you by Honora Whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. And Left, if you are indeed going to drink, we have to make sure that you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm Shaun Davis, SD2 Mics, that dude right there, the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE. As previously stated, we are brought to you by Honora Whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, honorawhiskey.com. Also, Bleav Network, courtesy of Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, dropping audio edibles each and every day. Go over there, set up the automatic download. When we drop, you get it. Simple as that. Bleav Network. And we are definitely, as always, presented by FanDuel. If you go over to FanDuel.com, of course, the college football season is over. But there's plenty meat left on the bone for championship weekend in the NFL. Where the New England Patriots, it keeps dropping. It was 5.5 yesterday on FanDuel. Today, the Patriots are only a 4.5-point underdog with an over-under total of 42.5. And on the other side, in the NFC Championship game, it is the LA Rams as a 2.5-point underdog. 46.5 over-under total. That's championship weekend in the NFL. You can find that, prop bets, and still Super Bowl odds. Super Bowl odds. The Seattle Seahawks are plus 145. The Rams are plus 220. And then the New England Patriots come in third at plus 240. And all the way at the bottom, because Bo Nix is injured, of course, Jarrett Stidham will get the start in the AFC Championship game. The Denver Broncos are at plus 1,200 to make Super Bowl 60.
Nice.
Right there and much more is available over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com. You can download the FanDuel app. Left, how you doing today, bro?
Long night, but another day, another dollar.
Long night.
Awesome though, just to see another day, man. It's supposed to get real cold across the states, so to be in California and it'd be all right, not too bad, then we doing okay. I heard it was pretty bad already in some like South Bend and in certain places where the snow's been crazy.
Yeah, last weekend was crazy for South Bend, I heard.
But I heard it's going to even get crazier this weekend coming up. So, pray for everybody.
Yeah, pray for everybody that they can stay healthy and stay warm. You knew it was coming in the Midwest. You're a Midwest baby like me, Left. Anytime you have 50 degrees on Christmas Day,
it's going to get rough.
47 on Thanksgiving, you already know. We have been abundantly blessed, but that bill is going to come due. And normally it comes
due. Going to come due.
Yes. And it usually comes due the closer you get to February. So I expect February to be a little frigid in the Midwest, but hopefully we have an early spring, especially around my birthday. I have some plans, bro.
What's going on? What you got going on?
We'll talk about it offline, bro. We'll talk about it offline, bro. We'll talk about it offline. I'm gonna have to send you. Did you see the Clinton Portis recruiting story that went viral the day before the championship game?
I didn't even get a chance.
I'll send you the link. It's wild. It's absolutely wild how he ended up committing to Miami. It's a classic, but it's wild. Shout out to our boy Roosevelt Carney, man. Sorry your Canes couldn't finish the deal, but I look forward to seeing you the first Saturday, and you and your boys the first Saturday of November when they come in to South Bend. Should be a great matchup. Let's get some of these GTBs early. Before we do that, subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all. X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. And as always, courtesy of Bleav Network, we are the home of the misguided passion. And we are forever committed to making sure that we spin it
different.
All right, get your GTB and super chats in so we can lock in. Let's start out with this one, Left. Chris Hossfield, 8478. He says, give me your ideal 5-man wide receiver rotation, Left. Your ideal 5-man wide receiver rotation. Before we go into spring, so we don't know the development of the true freshman, but who would you have as a 5-man rotation right now? I guess including the new transfers.
Jaden Greathouse, Quincy Porter. I'll probably throw in Micah Gilbert. Give me Cam Williams. And then I'll probably round it off with a true freshman, hopefully. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the biggest one, Jordan Faison. I think the ideal rotation should, or the 3, if we're going 11, it should be Faison, Porter, and Greathouse. I think those are 2 core guys with Greathouse and Faison and get CJ comfortable. And I think Quincy Porter is the most talented of the group, just from his size and just watching a little bit of him. Can be an explosive boundary receiver. But the offense just has to evolve. So it's hard to know because I think all of them have some good potential. But offensively, we've never seen that actualize on a consistent basis. We've seen guys like Jaden Greathouse pop up in the playoff game, pops up sparingly. But I think not having him last year was tough. But I think his responsibility to not let last year happen in terms of guys coming off the street and big dog in the room is he's got to run that thing as receiver 1 for CJ. I don't think it's the same transfers of Will Pauling and MALIK for these 2 Ohio State receivers. I don't think it's the same type of transfer. So CJ needs some experience in the system to rely on. And Jaden, this got to be his breakout consistent year. Jordan Faison, like I said 2 years ago, just can't be your number 1 guy. Like, it's just like, it's nothing wrong with Faison and we need him out there, but he just can't be your number 1 target. Not for what CJ likes to do. So that's where Quincy Porter comes in, just being a target for him to throw it up because that's what CJ is comfortable with. I think the ideal version of what CJ should look like was what Mendoza looked like this year, just being super efficient in the pocket and getting the ball out. Like, everybody knows, they criticize Mendoza so much because he's so keen on his strengths. He's throwing outside the numbers. He's throwing them go balls. He's throwing them easy access. He ain't thinking twice about it. Don't give it to him. He's going to take it. Make it what you want, but it literally became unstoppable. And we saw last year CJ loving to go to the go ball, the MALIK, the post routes, the deep things. If he can just make those automatic, that can be a better fit in Denbrock's offense than what I previously thought of him having to revolutionize what we do as an identity for Notre Dame. I just think with all the things added on CJ and coming into next year, you just can't be a premier running the football team. You're telling me we got the same or equivalent guys to Jeremiah Love and Jadarian? It's too early to even say because they just haven't had enough time. Plus, the running back room is going through an evolution and a change because of the coaching. He's trying to make his mark in the running back room as a coach. And for Dina McCullough to have such a strong impact in the entire room, because basically the entire room is recruited by him, things are going to be a little different. It's going to take time, just like the defense took time early on. But CJ's got to come out hot, which requires the receivers to be on point early. So the spring is going to be good for everybody because CJ is not in competition, right? So, you can test out way more than you could win in competition because you're just trying to get reps. If anything, I wouldn't let another quarterback get reps all spring. I would do like if it's 10 reps, 8 of them go to CJ, 2 we can mix it up, like whatever. But it's that important to know what we're doing going into this year, just because of the overhaul I think we have to have offensively, and just because defensively I think we'll be where we should be to win games. I mean, just from transfers alone, I think we're can't fail right now for defense. So, everything's in front of us. But it'll just be interesting to see how this develops. But the receivers are definitely, like we said yesterday, are the most important group going into next year because they have to be.
Yeah. I think that goes without saying, but they could surprise along with the tight ends and be one of the breakout units for the entire season. Let's get another one. Josh Buffo, the motivational banker, business banker. We thank you for your GTB. You can pick one player or one coach from any team in the country to add to this team in 2026, and you don't have to take anyone away. Who are they and why? I think that's real easy, bro. Especially with the subject we're talking about. Jeremiah Smith for me. It's not even close. He's just that dude. I watched him.
Malachi Tony.
No. I love Malachi. But he ain't Jeremiah Smith.
He's not.
I watched Miami triple team Jeremiah Smith in the red zone. He scored a touchdown, bro. I literally watched it with my own eyes. They triple teamed the man, and he scored a touchdown. And after the game, every Miami player on the roster went and found that dude and shook his hand.
Yeah.
Like you are a dude. He's a dude. Tony would probably be a close second. I'll tell you another one. I wouldn't mind going to get the Damon Wilson kid. The edge rusher from Missouri. He was at Georgia.
Oh, yeah, he's nice. Oh, yeah.
Went to Missouri. He's back in the portal. I think he's going to end up landing with Miami.
Landed with Miami.
Yep.
That's a trend. That's a trendy thing, huh?
Yeah, I agree. Like if it was, I'm trying to think of some other dominant edge rushers that had one more year. Yeah, because Kenyatta Jackson is probably going to go to the NFL. Even though
college football is becoming so much of a reset every year because of the changes and transitions from guys. So the development of year to year isn't as consistent as you would see, like guys like Will Anderson develop over 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a matter of fit. Who's going to pop in the right fit of what's going on in that time? So, you could be a team like Texas A&M a couple years back, upload a bunch of talent, fall flat. You can buy a bunch of talent like Ohio State and guarantee you to get in the playoffs and then fall flat. Or you can do it like Indiana. Get a bunch of older guys, experienced 4-year, 5-year, 6-year guys.
Yeah.
With a good system, and you can win like that. Or you do it Notre Dame's way. I think our way is still relevant. I think we still have a focus on player development and player retention, but we're not falling into the trend of overspending. But as an independent, we've been great with business to still be making money. So that's pretty good.
Another guy, Colin Simmons from Texas. Just a guy that I know is giving me double-digit sacks. I don't have to guess. I don't have to hope that this guy's going to develop, that guy's going to develop. He gave me 11 this year. I feel very confident he's going to give me that or more. So it'll be like one of those premier edge rushers, or, like I said, Malachi Tony or Jeremiah Smith. That's coach. One coach. So I'm assuming position coach. I mean, I would take a coach, man. I'm fine with the coaches. Because at this point, I'm not disgruntled with any coach. So, yeah, coach. I'm going to leave that one alone. Indy Newton fan, what kinds of things, I know nothing about being a quarterback, can CJ add to his plate to elevate the offense level?
Well, I think it'll happen naturally through just the more opportunities of decisions he'll probably have to make. We talked about a while back. There's a lion's share of carries between two guys that's leaving, and the quarterback, with what's everything's going on, is going to have to fill that with just good decisions. So I think the faster he can play at a higher pace than last year, it will help him tremendously in just growth, because with everything in front of you, it's all about mastering the offense and your system. And hopefully with the time that you have from spring, you healthy, get a whole spring in, get a whole summer in, get a whole fall season, you should be ready to go where this is led by CJ. So because of those decision-making opportunities he's going to have more of, how does he handle that responsibility when the games get tough, when you can't rely on a 94-yard touchdown or a swing pass for a 56-yard touchdown, or just, football will get a little bit more complicated because you have to look different, So I'm excited because his support cast is still there. It's not like he's on a team with nothing, how some people like to say Josh Allen is, which he's definitely not. But there's no excuses this year as well.
Yeah.
They're like, we said there's no excuse last year. There's definitely no excuses this year because we didn't make the playoffs anyway.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. So we talked about it briefly. Notre Dame finished 10th in the final AP rankings left. And also the ESPN way too early rankings finally came out. And Notre Dame is third. What shocks me is that Indiana is ranked number 1. I'll get to that in 8 bars. I'll explain that phrase. Texas, the Longhorns. First of all, Sark has to prove to me that he actually can cook up the meal with the ingredients he has, dude. Yep. Great ingredients, bad chef.
Bland chef.
Thank you, God. I knew you had an analogy for it. I knew
bland you had. Chef. He just a guy that just make the Applebee's dish. High expectations, look great, but I come out to be sizzling. You like, ooh, I got something right, and it's just good. It's just good. It has a lot of expectations, just good. So he gotta add some flavor to the dish. He's one of those guys that get in the chili competition and just always come in second. He's just always coming in second. He'll chill you. You did everything you can do. You just keep coming. You in the race. People respect you. They're like, oh, that brother got some good, but you ain't got no trophies. You ain't got your famous hot sauce you done made on the side, but you ain't winning the chili competition. You're known for a lot, but just not the chili. And that just comes with just, I don't know. I honestly think it's a coaching thing more so. It can't be a player thing. I mean, you ain't got everybody and some and all the money. You got all the money. I mean, my goodness. You don't have enough money. It can go all day. So there's nothing you can't buy to be ready, which is great, but also it can be a danger because now your coaching is spotlighted. Cignetti doing it with nothing, what some people would say. He got a lot now. Mark Cuban said, I don't know if it's true or not. He said he'll pay the first round salary for Mendoza to come back. I would take it. You gonna pay me $36 million to just stay in college and try to run it back? Oh yeah, I mean, what would you do, SD? If Mark Cuban said, "Hey, you don't got to go first pick of the draft. I'll give you the exact money you would get first pick of that draft. You just stay in Indiana in college and have fun and all that."
Well, I'll say this. I don't think the kid has an ego. So I don't think being the number 1 overall pick would mean that much to him. Because if he comes out next year, he's definitely not going to be the number 1 overall pick.
No, yeah, it's not your fault. But he's
not.
Those are freaking nature.
They'll find a way to put Arch over him. They'll find a way. And if CJ does what we expect him to do, they would take CJ over him as the number 1 overall pick. So he doesn't have an ego. He's a team guy. So I could actually see him going back to try and go back to back. That's a very interesting conversation, bro.
I would for $36 million from Mark Cuban.
I saw your tweet too. You said in a heartbeat.
What? I mean, what? And then you get an NIL and it's college it's not NFL. You're gonna lose in the league.
Facts. No matter where you go.
Yeah, you're gonna lose. First day you might get hit wrong. You never know. You still got all the hype in college. You know, you got a great coach. Shoot, I mean, that would be a dream. If they told Jeremiah Love, hey, don't even think about it. We will give you what you would get in the league. I would stay.
No, J Love is going.
Oh, he's going. Yeah, he's going. But I'm saying, that's good money.
J Love is ready to move on. Yeah.
To my Chiefs.
That's what it looks like. Somebody said today, what if they, at number 9, what if they went and got one of the best offensive linemen, because they do need O-line help, and then came back in round 2 and got Jadarian?
They're not losing. That's the thing. You're not losing either pick.
No.
You're not. It's real debatable on who would turn out better. It's like 1A, 1B.
It could be system. See, you thought I was playing. You watched that Rams game. I kept telling people the Bears need a running back. I kept telling them, Bears need another running back, bro.
The Bears?
Swift is okay. I'm like, nah. Not around that goal line, he's not okay. Not in short yardage, he's not okay. Look, my Bears need so much help on defense, though. Yeah, that's a pipe dream. They're not getting either one of those running backs. They're definitely not getting Jeremiah Love. I want them to get Reuben Bain, but he won't be there. But what? I think they're at 21, something like that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. We got another GTB. If you have a GTP or super chat, put it in. We appreciate your support. My good men are black and highly favored. What's good with you, Gino? How's the weather out there in Arizona? Matter of fact, Notre Dame was out in Arizona passing out plenty of offers today. A couple of DBs, a wide receiver.
Yep.
When is the call-in show? We're saving it, bro. we'll set it up. We're gonna make it happen. We'll set it up. We'll get things right. I actually want to do it when I can have. I don't want to be. I'm trying to update my in the process of doing like Lev. I was telling you all the plans we have as we celebrate our 40th year anniversary at the ministry this year. Man, God is good and faithful, bro. And one of the things the young people are trying to do for me is really secure as they call it, a legitimate podcast studio.
Right.
They tried to sun me like, hey man, you need a real podcast studio, not just your desk.
Whoa.
I was like, man, you trying to make me feel bad? Like,
come on, man.
He said the Bears need a DC. No, they need players, bro. Especially on the D line. They don't have a legitimate pass rusher at all. Because Sweat is stealing money. Stealing money.
Well, y'all had to get a lot to get him, though.
Oh, snap. Gino said, yes, Notre Dame was out here heavy. They had digital billboard signs up off the highway in Tempe, right by ASU. Oh, that's petty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's petty. Okay, Notre Dame. That's petty.
Right moves. That's how you make the right moves now.
That's petty. That's petty. Yo, hey, I agree. Michael Ruskin. Yo, both Irish hoops. Men's and women's.
I mean, both were Irish. Even though Hannah had 51 the other day, it's still tough to watch.
Tough to watch, bro. Tough to watch.
What do you think they missing?
Olivia Miles. What you mean? What? What?
Yeah.
Olivia Miles, Sonia Centron. Yeah, talent.
Yeah.
They're big girl that was a freshman last year that's now starting for LSU at center. They're missing talent. That's the talent that left in the portal. That's exactly what they're missing. That's their issue.
What's the men's issue? Because we should be winning these games now.
No, they shouldn't. I know they shouldn't be losing by 40 to Connecticut. I know that. Losing by 40 is crazy. That's crazy. Notre Dame women's hoops losing by 40 to Connecticut is as crazy as Bronny James getting all-star votes. Just crazy.
Man, timeout. First of all,
that's crazy.
Why wouldn't he get all-star votes? Hold on.
In the G League or in the NBA?
In the NBA.
Left, we're not gonna do this tonight.
Wait a minute.
I hate when you get in your clutch sports mode. I hate that.
Wait, I'm just saying, why would he not?
It's after 5 o'clock.
It's
after 5 o'clock. You are no longer on the clock for clutch sports today.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's unrealistic. That's all.
Come on, man. You got to stop. Notre Dame is actually working out. That's one of the things on the recruiting trail. We talked about this the other day. Notre Dame, they offered their first quarterback in wonderful Champ Mons out of Vero Beach, Florida. But they're going around working out and watching other quarterbacks in the 27 class throw. So there are more offers to come, it seems like, from Notre Dame in the class of 2027. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We are presented by FanDuel, as always, courtesy of Bleav Network. Tap in on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you go to FanDuel right now, we said AFC Championship weekend, the Super Bowl odds for Super Bowl 60 at plus 145. The Seattle Seahawks have the best odds to reach the Super Bowl. The Rams are right behind them at plus 220. The New England Patriots are next at plus 240. And all the way down at the bottom at plus 1,200 because of the injury to Bo Nix, and Jarrett Stidham gets the start against the Patriots at home. They are at plus 1,200. A little bit NBA odds. Some parlays going on. The schedule was nice tonight, love, in the NBA. Cleveland at Charlotte, Pacers at Boston, Brooklyn at the Knicks, the Hawks and the Grizzlies, the Pistons and the Pelicans. Hey, Shout out to the news that broke here locally in Chicago that the Bulls are working on hammering out a deal that could land Zion Williamson with the Chicago Bulls. I'm interested. Sign me up.
Michael Jordan?
Give me a reason to go to the game, because there is no reason to go to a Bulls game other than taking my wife on a nice date.
That's about it. Don't do that.
That's about it.
You got Kobe White.
It's a great. No. First of all, stop. We got who?
Kobe White.
Stop lying to yourself. Stop playing with me.
You got Kobe White. Come on.
The Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Milwaukee Bucks. That's a pretty good. Dude, they're 11.5 favorites against Milwaukee and Giannis. That's crazy. That's crazy. There's actually an NBA game tonight where the over-under is 240, bro. 240 points between the teams. That is crazy.
240 points.
Does anybody play defense? That is crazy, bro. The lowest over-under total tonight is 219. The Nets and the Knicks. 219 and a half. That's crazy. Defense is dead in the NBA. Yep, you can find that and much more over at FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app or simply go to FanDuel.com. You're right. Black Rhino coming to this city, he's definitely going to get fatter. Facts.
I don't know. What'll get you bigger, Chicago or New Orleans food? That's debatable.
Yeah, that country food is a little different. I'll be honest. But see, he might not need to come to Chicago because Chicago women, they ruin careers.
Oh, look, he ought to talk about the win.
You see what they did to Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson was the face of Major League Baseball, bro. And he got with the wrong Southside girl, and next thing you know,
Tim Anderson was tripping though. He was
wilding out, bro.
So I don't know if it's the Chicago. I don't know, man.
Hey, bro, you mess around. And I mean, the one that messed him up was G Herbo's girl's best friend. Like the whole story behind that was crazy.
Crazy.
Capo 31 Dubose Italian beef combo sweet hot dip 100. I got one better for you. Go to Just Turkey in Homewood. They have an Italian turkey dipped with cheese on the side. You can get it regular or jerk. Trust me on this. Trust me, Left. An Italian jerk turkey sandwich.
Italian jerk turkey.
I'm telling you, bro. Instead of the Italian beef, just exchange it for the jerk turkey meat.
And where's this at?
The same peppers, sweet and hot. Woo! Dip it. Cheese on the side. Just Turkey here in Chicago. I'm trying to tell you. Bless yourself. Bless yourself. Bless yourself.
Well, sounds amazing.
Anybody that comes to the Chicagoland area, you can venture to Hyde Park or bring yourself out to Homewood in the burbs. I'm telling you.
Love it.
The Lord will bless. The Lord will bless you. He will truly bless you if you partake of it. Coach Vic said that sounds amazing. It's called Just Turkey.
Definitely sound like a good time.
It's called Just Turkey. Just Turkey. There's one in Hyde Park, and then I believe there are 3. The 2 I know about and the 2 I frequent in Hyde Park, and then the other one is in Homewood, south suburbs of Chicago. All right, let's get to it. We did GTB. We talked about the 5-man rotation and wide receiver, a few other things. I want to break down some numbers from Miami, Indiana, Ohio State, and Ole Miss to kind of tell a story and project this wide receiver room, the production they need to amass in 2026. And then we'll start to identify the top contenders for who can be the go-to guy for CJ Carr and what that guy should look like. Is he a Jeremiah Smith type? Does he need to be a Malachi Tony type? What type of guy does that guy need to be for the Notre Dame offense to be a championship offense next year, led by CJ Carr, who, by the way, is the leading odds-on favorite over at FanDuel to win the Heisman Trophy next year.
There you go.
All right, Left. Before we get to that, you said something in our pre-show. You said, and it kind of shocked me, but I'm going to give you and throw you this. Ooh, you said the spotlight is on Mike Denbrock this season. You said the spotlight is kind of on Mike Denbrock this season. No one knows Mike Denbrock better than you. You played for him. He called plays for you. You still have your notebooks from the meetings with Mike Denbrock that you look at. What did you mean by that? And break that down for the Notre Dame fans.
Well, I think it's definitely on Mike Denbrock just from the challenge of what's presented. It's different when you have a quarterback win the Heisman when you weren't expecting it. You get a Jaden Daniels in a good situation and you turn it into a Heisman. That's one thing. You're coming into the season saying, this guy is winning it. That's a lot of pressure. Now, the schedule ahead allows it to, he can get him there, but you don't have the same tools to get it done and can't do it the same way or lean on it the same way as you could before. So you have to form an identity around your starting quarterback. Since he's been there, he hasn't had the chance. Every year he's been there, there's been a different guy starting. So for him to have a second year with the same guy, now you have to make it about him, because I'm not saying that Aeneas isn't ready. I think Aeneas is going to be great. But I'll be lying to say he's going to give you 21 touchdowns and be in the New York like Jeremiah Love. And even have a backup do what Jadarian Price did. I think that's a lot to say we're expecting to come into, which the running back room is going through a transformation. These are Dina McCullough guys. Coach Sider just witnessed another guy's recruits dominate the room. He can't take credit for that. What day did he say, I got to be here? You having all this success, but I got to be here when you leave. I got to be expected to do this as the owner of this room. So that's going through a transformation, which is going to take time. So CJ is the answer. And the way we've ran offense, that hasn't necessarily been the case, where CJ's strengths have been in the forefront, which is throwing the football. So either we stick to a system like Indiana, which we saw work, where you just spamming a couple different system type plays and you just get really good at it, and just, like the kid that plays the same play in Madden, you just get really good at it. Or you got to develop an entire offense that's not based on running the football primarily, which is a lot of responsibility on CJ, but also on the coordinator, on the areas in which we haven't been premier at. You're saying we're going from what we've been comfortable and premier at running back for so long, running behind the offensive line, to where the offensive strength is through CJ, where our receiver rooms have been, the background stage. The stage actors, the background noise, they haven't been in the spotlight. So you're asking for a lot of Mike Denbrock to just flip the switch with a team that, hasn't been accustomed or had the identity to do that. But the good thing is you have a whole spring, a whole fall, a whole summer to really get into what CJ can be efficient with, and then build on that. So I think it's a brand new year for Mike Denbrock, where last year, how much can you really take into the next year? You're not going to direct snap to Aeneas Williams on 3rd and 1. I don't expect that to happen. I don't expect CJ to motion out to receiver position on goal line and red zone plays. So, and even further, I don't see CJ lining up on 3rd and 1 and running quarterback dive. So we're talking about 3 years of what needs to be different in 1 year. And that's hard to do. You know, it's easy to say to do it. You have the opportunity to do it, but that's why it's a spotlighted thing, because you're expected to produce a Heisman, which is a whole nother type of pressure.
So let's get into this conversation. I'm going to give you 4 teams that I felt like had elite passing offenses or championship offenses, perception-wise and production-wise. We're going to take a look at the passing yards from the quarterbacks in the room, the receiving yards from the wide receivers, and then the running back yardage. Now, I'm just sticking to yardage. I'm not going to bring up touchdowns. That's an entirely different conversation. Talks about production. I get it. I just want to stick to yards for this particular conversation to kind of give us a benchmark for what we should expect for a championship wide receiver group collectively to produce at Notre Dame next year before we identify that go-to guy. So, Miami, the Hurricanes. Carson Beck was their quarterback. Of course, at times other quarterbacks came in. The quarterbacks threw for 3,969 yards. Their wide receivers collected or amassed a total of 3,239 total receiving yards. The running backs ran for 2,429 yards on the ground. That's about the balance you see. Now watch this, Indiana, because you would expect Indiana perception-wise to probably be the more explosive offense, right? And maybe that's the perception between Carson Beck and Fernando Mendoza when people might think that. The quarterbacks, which are the 2 Mendoza boys, they threw for 3,826 yards this year. Their receiving group, all of the receivers, this is deducting running backs and tight ends for every team, strictly wide receivers. They amassed 3,209 receiving yards. So right now you're seeing the production from the quarterbacks and the wide receivers between Indiana and Miami, the combatants in the national championship game, very close in the passing game. Very similar. The running backs at Indiana, now this is the difference. As a group, they produced 2,939 yards on the ground. The running backs combined at Indiana. That right there is pretty amazing. I will say this.
Pretty good, yeah.
Miami and Indiana had 4 wide receivers over 450 receiving yards. Both teams had 4 wide receivers over 450 receiving yards. Let's go to Ohio State. You would say that this was a down year offensively for Ohio State. Wouldn't you say that? A step back.
Yeah.
Step back from what you're used to. Ohio State, the quarterbacks threw for 3,749 yards. That's not far off from Indiana and Miami. The wide receivers, here is the difference. Even with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, as a wide receiver group, 2,651 yards.
Mm.
2,651 yards. Now, Carnell Tate missed some time. Max Clare was the third leading receiver with 448. Brandon Ennis was the third leading receiver at 271. I think there's the difference. The fifth leading receiver was Bo Jackson, the running back. So they usually have the Ohio State offense. The year before, Carnell Tate was the third receiver.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? He was the third receiver. They didn't have that third guy like they normally have. And so that kind of explains why the wide receiver room didn't have the same production. Yeah. Running backs, only 2,114 yards. And that was with a freshman, Bo Jackson, leading the way. Ole Miss, the Rebs. Now, to me, Ole Miss is kind of like the outlier as we look at this, but I threw them in there because they had an explosive offense with Trinidad Chambliss. The quarterbacks, Austin Simmons and Trinidad Chambliss, because Austin Simmons was the starter before he got injured, and Trinidad Chambliss eventually took over and never gave the job back. They threw for 4,700 yards. That's insane. When I saw that, I said, man, that's insane. The wide receiver group, collectively, 3,735 yards of the year. Why? Just wide receivers. Just wide receivers. The running backs led with Keywan Lacey and Logan Diggs. Logan Diggs was really their only backup, productive backup that they went to. 1,911 yards. That's why they're the outlier.
Right.
They're the outlier because they definitely wing it all over the field a lot more than Miami, Indiana, and Ohio State, which are far more balanced offenses. Outside of all of that left, in the run game, I would like to say this. In the run game, Miami, 3 running backs over 500 yards. I think that was impressive. I think that was very impressive.
That's pretty good.
3 running backs over 500 yards. Is that something you might see with Notre Dame and their running back room? We'll see. But
it'll be by committee. I think it should be by committee early on because, I mean, they all deserve some equal of a chance.
So those are the 4 teams. Is there anything that stands out to you from those stats about wide receivers and wide receiver rooms? Like 32-39 for Miami, 32-09 for Indiana, 37-35 for Ole Miss, and 26-51 for Ohio State, who we agree took a step back this year in the passing game, which you been saying.
And man, it just really depends on just the relationship between Denbrock and what he's doing with CJ. If he's taking the training wheels off of CJ, the game should go well. If he's like he did last year, slowly bringing him in and baby feeding him and trying to make sure he doesn't lose the game or too much pressure on him during the game, it's not going to go well because the demand is higher in that area, especially if you're supposed to win the Heisman. Yes, we have the complimentary run game, but it's complimentary. Pass game's got to be there. So tight ends even have to be somewhat active, which, you know, I think we have talent there, but we've never pushed the edge of what the Notre Dame offense can look like in the passing game. So it's an unknown. It would be nice if we look like the Indiana Pacers where we had 9 guys that can just play. Not necessarily a superstar. We're yet to see one. But if we had 5 receivers that can go out there and just have a day, be productive, be an option for CJ, make us hard to play defense because we got you don't know where it's coming from. I think that's the goal. So whatever it takes to get to that, it's just maybe in the spring we can see what it looks like a little bit, but we just won't know until our first game, unfortunately. Just because this is a new year, different than last year. Yes, CJ's coming back, but he's coming back with what? Nothing he's familiar with. So it's a different restart, which is interesting.
I think one thing that stands out to me is the balance with Miami and Indiana. And balance is always talked about 50-50. No balance in today's football are the numbers that you see, right? 32-39 for Miami. They run the ball for 2,400 yards is a lot of rushing yards.
That is, though. 2,400 yards is a lot.
Rushing yards, right? Because Jeremiah Love and Jadarian combined for 2,065 with 29 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's a lot, right? But Miami had 24-29, and they still were able to get 32-39 from the wide receiver group. Of course, led by a 17-year-old that went out there his freshman year and put up 1,200 receiving yards. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, where does he go from there, though? I mean, you going that's hard to produce as a regular anything, you know.
Safe to say his agent called the general manager from Miami the day after the national championship game, like, yo, we need to talk.
Oh.
We need to talk.
Day after.
Man, that NIL money is about to explode.
That's what I mean, but if you cash in like that this early, he should be the first person to say, I'm on the market. What are we talking about?
You saying he would jump in the portal?
He should be the first player with this status, with no rules. Why not? Because you're telling me he's going to do 1,200 yards again at Miami or better? Probably not. You don't even know who your quarterback is.
I think Mensa is going to end up going in.
But he just got sued to legally stay there, I guess. Or they made a rule or something.
Yeah, I think eventually they buy him out.
But even with that, how many times can Miami rely on a transfer 1-year guy? Now they don't have a blank canvas. Now you're coming in with, we got a guy got 1,200 yards as a true freshman or a true redshirt sophomore. Are you coming in to fit what that is? It's different than coming in and just working in a good team. You know, you got to come in and feed that because that's what is feeding us. So that's not guaranteeing their transfer option like they've been running with is going to pan out. I mean, come on. They struck, honestly, really lucky to go first year of first pick of the draft, second year national championship run. Like I thought we were lucky with Riley Leonard doing it. They did it twice in different ways. So I'm not counting on, unless they get Peyton Manning in there, that you can guarantee that Malachi's Tony numbers are going to be the same. Because, yeah, you can call the same plays, but Carson Beck understood the assignment. Because he's a 7th-year veteran. He's like, shoot, that's my way to the top right there. I don't care. Hella high water, I'm throwing it his way. That's where you got all the exciting plays. You only get plays like that when he's like, that's my guy. I'm going to just give him a chance. That's why he get all the crazy catches, because that's just throwing it up, because you understand he's the best player to go to. You can't guarantee that with a guy coming in 1 year that that's just a lot to bank on. So if I was Malachi Tony, I'd be like, man, shoot, I'll have just as great as chances going somewhere else. Maybe not get 1,200 yards, but my value is 1,200 yards on the market, true freshman. I can go get 3 or 4 more million than what I'm getting and be with a better quarterback that I know who's there. Take a chance with a quarterback that's projected. Why not? He can do it. What's Miami gonna do? Match it? Now he the highest paid player as a redshirt junior. That'd be crazy. But I don't know. I think that the leverage is there for him, and it hasn't been like that for somebody in his position. You saw Ryan Williams sort of in that position early, but he ain't do 1,200 yards. He ain't making a national championship. And then the next year, he kind of flatlined. So I think this is the year to take advantage of just what's out there, and he should come to Notre Dame.
I like how you threw that in at the end, the caveat. Like, yeah, take advantage and jump in the portal. And oh yeah, by the way, come to Notre Dame.
Yeah, we got a quarterback. I'm just saying, we know who we got. And he's supposed to win the Heisman. So what's that telling? You know what I mean? So I do think it's an opportunity just because it's there, man. If you a kid that's a true freshman or a young guy, 1,200 yards, everybody saying you the next greatest thing. And then you look in the transfer portal and see a guy with 800 yards get $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, should I be I'll be the number one hottest thing in the portal easily. Oregon gonna give me a bag. LSU gonna throw me a whole bunch of money. I can get close to 8 million if I wanted to. I mean, why not? Because all I'm saying is you can't guarantee nothing Miami got going on. They got lucky. You got to count that. You got to count that as lucky. Come on. You were lucky, abysmal the first year. Solid, and then you just, I don't know, whatever. But yeah. Why not? Come Notre Dame.
Lucky Lefty Podcast. So, how would you like the distribution? As you said before, Miami was impressive with 4 receivers with over 450 yards. Is that the type of distribution you would like to see from the Notre Dame wide receiver room?
CJ, if he's going to win the Heisman, he need 2 guys that are just like his go-tos, like his potential rounders. You know, they're best friends. They can play all the stories through the season. They win and live in the same dorm, all that. And then he needs just 2 really good guys that are good role players. So I would say 4. 5 would be great considering the unknown of our offense and where our offense can be. So adding more guys into that would be helpful. But we have enough tools to have about 4 or 5.
Yeah. Let me double check because I think Indiana had 4 guys as well. If I'm not mistaken, Indiana had 4 guys as well.
But the difference is CJ got to make them superstars. That's the difference. It's one thing to get a Malachi Fields. It's another thing when you make a Malachi Fields.
No, they had 3. Indiana had 3. Henry, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the running backs. They just missed. They only had 3. Omar Cooper, Elijah Surratt, and Charlie Becker were all over 450. EJ Williams is right at 438.
I mean, CJ just got to find who his guy is, you know.
All right, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Who is going to be that guy? Before we get to that, go over to FanDuel, FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app, and you'll find that it's plenty of NBA action. As I look at this right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games on the schedule tonight. Parlay bets all over the place. Live action. The lines are adjusting. You can go and check out the NBA action. Of course, Super Bowl odds. You have AFC, NFC championship games. It's championship weekend in the NFL. The Patriots are 4.5-point favorites going out to Invesco Field there in Denver. And the LA Rams, they go up north to the Northwest to take on the Seattle Seahawks. Lots of Notre Dame love. You got Riley Mills, you got Julian Love. Lots of Indy love in that game with Kyron Williams for the LA Rams. And the Rams are a 2.5-point underdog. You can get that and much more, FanDuel.com, or you can simply download the FanDuel app. All right, let's get to it, man. The top contenders. Now, we talked about this, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to disagree or throw somebody else in the chat, but top contenders out of the Notre Dame wide receiver room to be go-to guys. You heard Malik say he thinks CJ Carr needs two guys. He needs two go-to guys in the wide receiver room. Okay? So these are our top contenders. We have 6 guys. Of course, Jordan Faison, who had 49 receptions last year and 4 touchdowns. He's averaging 13 yards per reception. Micah Gilbert had 9 receptions, 93 yards, and a touchdown. He had a reception in every game except for the game that he was injured in. That was the Boise State game. He missed about a month, a little bit over a month after that injury and came back. And every game except for that Boise State game, like I said, in which he got injured, he had a reception. Cam Williams, 1 reception for 6 yards last year. Jaden Greathouse, injured most of the year. 4 receptions, 73 yards. The previous year, 42 receptions, 592 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 2024. You have the transfer, the true sophomore redshirt freshman, transfer, who was a long-time prospect and recruit of the Fighting Irish, Mylan Graham. 6 receptions for 93 yards this past season at Ohio State. And his teammate and now new teammate at Notre Dame, Quincy Porter. 4 receptions, 59 yards at Ohio State. I said that incorrectly. His teammate at Ohio State last year and his now teammate at Notre Dame. Those are the 6 contenders. Those are just the guys that we felt like have the best chance to become a go-to guy. We know there are younger guys, Elijah Burris, who had a lot of buzz last spring, last fall. People expect him to take a step and be a main cog, a part of that rotation at the wide receiver position. He could end up being that type of guy. But those are the 6 that we targeted to talk about tonight. Left, your feeling is Notre Dame needs to develop or make 2 out of those 6 guys, go-to guys for CJ Carr. Give me your top 3 guys, and then we can cut it down from there. Out of those 6 guys, give me the 3 guys that you think will end up being CJ's go-to guys. Left might have stepped away. All right. I'll give my.
Oh, no. I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I had on mute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I'm saying I'm either taking Greathouse has to be your number 1 receiver. After that, I would prefer Jordan Faison to be a good 3. If Jordan Faison can be a good 3 and leave room for 2 being maybe potentially a transfer or a young guy as a freshman, somebody they need the coaching staff needs to allow that number 2 spot to be open for whoever is the top dog. Going into it, force Jaden Greathouse to be number 1. Force it. Just make the decision. Leave the number 2 open. Let freshmen coming in even compete for it. But make Jordan Faison the 3. After that, you can fill it in. But as long as you have Faison at 3 and Greathouse at 1, and really evaluate for 2 and let it be a potential freshman or one of these transfers, somebody's got to be, because that's a good balance. You get two veterans around a guy that CJ can get comfortable with, like he's proven that he can in 6 months, whatever. Let him do that, but also have Great House and Faison keeping him steady and being reliable. It's more than just being the most talented. Just be reliable as the veterans in the receiver room, which gives credit to the receiver coach. You can't have both of the transfers again 2 years in a row dominate your one role, because I'll get rid of the whole room. I would literally get rid of the whole room. If the two guys coming in either become a captain or both of them become starters, I'm getting rid of the whole room. How is that possible? 2 years in a row, two guys off the street come in and be the top dog in the room with 4 years of guys in the room. What is the development? That's terrible. So if I'm the receiver coach, I am making sure that Great House has to be the number one. Or if, somebody in the room has to be in that lineup for CJ. Because what are you doing then? You just guiding guys that have came from other places. It's not very coach like.
I think your point is well taken, Left, as far as the development, especially in the transfer portal. The transfer portal at wide receiver is a little bit different, right? Previously, they went after instant impact guys. So maybe the perception, or maybe the thought, not perception, or maybe the thought was, we went and got these guys, whether it was a Chris Mitchell, whether it was a MALIK Fields or Will Pauling. We have these guys for 1 year. We have to squeeze every bit of juice out of them because we don't have them that long. Mylan Graham, Quincy Porter, that's not the case. You have these young men minimum 2 years. I don't know if that impacts how they get into the rotation, how they're viewed in the building.
But you bring in two guys though at the same. It's one thing to bring. You just bring in two guys with 2 years. That's saying more than guys that are experienced on their way out, can guide leadership, share that type of veteranism or whatever. These are two hungry guys that are coming from a elite place that are probably looking at Notre Dame like, oh, I'm finna eat here. They ain't got nobody here. That's how they thinking. So as a coach and as a guy in the room, I'm like, yeah, I get competition, but this is different than having a high school kid come in. This is the second year in a row. What did Marcus Freeman do the first year? He told them quarterbacks, hey, I'm getting somebody new. This is the second year in a row we bringing guys off the street, two of them at a time, and they're taking over the room. That's an indictment on the room. Marcus Freeman need to have conversation with the receivers in the room like, listen, this ain't the quarterback position. CJ's our guy. So, we need to have some consistency in here. And guys off the street, even if they're good, can't be dominating the development because we have to think recruiting.
Yeah.
How are we going to recruit any receiver looking at this resume right now at the receiver room? Shoot, they only looking at transfers. Shoot, they taking guys that's been rotting in the room for 3 years and they leave. All they young guys leaving. It's terrible. We're like Miami for the quarterback position at the receiver position. We're just taking whoever's hot in the receiver room and running with it. We ain't trying to. It's a bad look on us not developing. It's a bad look on us not recruiting well. It's a bad look on them being so influential in the offense. MALIK Fields and Will Pauling look like they've been there the whole time. For as much production as they got, at least, so I think it's something Denbrock acknowledges because he's like, if I'm going to be frustrated, it's frustrated because how are you not giving me somebody I can lean on that knows what's going on? I can't spend time restarting every year.
So you cut it down to Greathouse, Faison, and Quincy Porter.
If Quincy Porter can be I mean, one of them you can't bring in two guys and none of them work. Not with 2 years left. Because what is that? We might as well get a high school kid. So a transfer has got to be 2 or 4.
Okay. So I'm assuming Quincy Porter and Jaden Greathouse are the guys that you are highlighting as the guys you would like to be the go-to guys eventually for CJ Carr.
They should be coming out as 1 and 2. Faison can't be a 1, and it'd be even better if he was a 3 to show the prowess of talent in the room. Because if you can say Faison's a 3, you got a talented room. Yeah. If Faison's a 1, you're like, nah, we need help. If Faison's a 2, you're like, damn, we kind of need help. You know, not that he's not good, but you thinking of 1 receiver, is he a Peter Ward? In the size comparison?
Yeah.
He's Peter Ward. We got some.
So you would say, as we put a nice bow on this, the wide receiver room right now, without watching spring practice, which I'm sure you'll get a chance to go and watch, without watching spring practice or any fall practice, will Notre Dame's wide receiver room look more like Miami's, Indiana's, Ohio State's, or Ole Miss's? Just a collection of the body types and talent that they have. I'm going to say they're going to look more like Indiana's room.
I'll say Ole Miss's room.
Okay.
Because it's got to come from the quarterback. So whatever the quarterback do, if his success is high, the receivers will be successful. You know, Ohio State is driven through the receivers. Indiana was driven through, you know, their type of system. Ole Miss was more, they had the talent comparison, but the quarterback was the reason for the season. If he had a good day, they had a good day. So I think it's more so along the lines of that. From a systemic way, we need our quarterback to be the reason for the season. We need to be promoting him for the Heisman. So if he does well and he's comfortable, I think you'll have a greater number of receivers benefit from it. Because that's what his greatest talent is to play based off of the talent around him. If he got good talent around him, he'll be good. If he's got shabby guys, inconsistent, injured, can't be relied on, he doesn't have, in my opinion, he doesn't have the superstar playmaking ability when things don't go well to win the Heisman. I'm not saying not to be good, but to win the Heisman.
So you think it's going to be more like the Ole Miss room? And I just want to give some stats to kind of give people an idea of what that might look like. Of course, they were led by Trey Wallace, the third, SHAUN Stribling, and Deuce Alexander were their top 3 guys in the wide receiver room. And then Caden Lee was their 4th receiver. And he was one of their most dependable and best hands on the team. Clutch situations on third downs, Caden Lee was that guy, but he was injured a lot. He probably would have had better numbers. Harrison Wallace, Trey Wallace, 61 receptions, 934 yards, 4 touchdowns. SHAUN Stribling, 55 receptions, 811 yards, 6 touchdowns. Deuce Alexander, 44 receptions, 684 yards, 2 touchdowns. They all averaged over 14 yards of reception. Caden Lee, injured, but still produced 44 receptions, 635 yards at a 14.4 yard clip with 3 touchdowns. Then you drop down, they had Winston Watkins, 26 receptions, 373 yards, 1 touchdown, 14 yards a pop. That's their top 6 receivers. We just gave you 6 candidates: Jordan Faison, Micah Gilbert, Cam Williams, Jaden Greathouse, Mylan Graham, and Quincy Porter. If those 6 guys can produce at the same level that the Ole Miss top 6 guys, that's the wide receiver room that you comped, left. You comped Ole Miss as the wide receiver room that the 2026 Fighting Irish wide receiver room could look most like. They didn't have that top guy like a MALIK Tony or Jeremiah Smith, but they were mighty productive. And like you said, it was all about the quarterback. It was driven by the quarterback, and there were a lot of big plays. And they still were able to have one big running back, and Keywan Lacey, that ran for 1576 with 24 touchdowns. Keywan Lacey had 24 touchdowns, ladies and gentlemen. 24.
Well, the way we run offense and CJ does his job, we can have a lot of easy scores by running the football, getting close to the red zone as a threat instead of him running quarterback dives. So if we exchange his quarterback dives with running back dives and trust the talent of our running back room, they can collect a lot of easy touchdowns or not far out touchdowns. You know, because I think CJ in the midfield is pretty solid. He's going to call the switch to play, make sure things right, work the ball down the field. Red zone will be the biggest issue for me and the awareness of what we need to focus on outside of short yardage, just because what are we going to go to? We're just known for running the football when we get close and running some quarterback rollouts that get extended and then he throws out of bounds. Develop an offense for CJ that fits his talent in the red zone. Have some running components, but don't use that as the means of necessarily scoring. Just because unless those guys become, I don't think anybody can become bigger than CJ this year. It just you know, team chemistry, teamology. Nobody's bigger than CJ right now, and that's okay. But CJ gotta feel that and take that responsibility on and know it's through him. So if that's the case, we're good. But if we're saying that and then running the ball 70% of the time, it's just not going to work out.
Yeah, I agree. This is a season of transition for this offense. And going back to what you talked about in the first segment of the show, Mike Denbrock, yeah, spotlight might be on offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock in this season of transition to see if he can truly build an offense around CJ Carr and let him go ahead and show.
There's no training wheels.
Yeah.
There's no training. You got to come out smoke. Clearly, we got to come out not losing the first game of the season because that can determine our entire season. I mean, that's so crazy to think about. I think that's
if they lose at Wisconsin, yes, it's some conversations that need to be had about how Notre Dame consistently starts poorly.
I mean, but dang, like it's a dang if you do, dang if you don't world. It's as great as Marcus Freeman is, his slip-ups are always magnified by 10. You lose to David Shaw, everybody remembers the smile as he walks off in retirement. That's just what you just remember. Mm-hmm. You remember the Gatorade bath in week 2 from Marshall. It's just, you don't forget. We definitely don't forget Thomas Hammock's world tour. Like just and you can count the losses on one hand, but they're just so monumental that it's just unfortunate, you know, and that's the spotlight on Notre Dame coaching, but also just where we are as a program. Us losing gives teams life, and that's rare. A team beating Ohio State, that's going to give them life. You saw it from Indiana. I think them beating them in the Big Ten championship gave them the courage that they can win the whole thing. Because I was the boogeyman in the room.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is the boogeyman every season, apparently. I mean, it's not even me saying it. It's them making that the case. Like, good grief. We rejected a bowl game like 12 other teams. But you're the only one we hear about is Notre Dame. So Yeah, Marcus Freeman's unfortunate losses become memorable. Even the Oklahoma State loss, and that was his first day on the job. Just a memorable loss. He had 500 yards of passing offense. That's what CJ needs to have. Maybe we need to bring Tommy Reese as an assistant. Get CJ 500 passing yards in a game. I mean, that's what you want. Jack Cohn is still the best quarterback we've had for that time period. The last best quarterback we've had, in my opinion, is Jack Cohn. That's facts. I think CJ has obviously the potential to be better, but in the last 10 since Jack Cohn, nobody has played better at the position, in my opinion, has better moments, in my opinion, has been more impactful in a season, in my opinion, with less. We talk about O-line up and down, but that year, Jack Cohn was Magic Man. From the first game now we ain't talking about starting slow. First game, Florida State, he had like 5 touchdowns. So, yes, CJ can be better, but Jack Cohn, man, I'm telling you, that's just, maybe I'm biased. I don't know. I just thought if I'm thinking about Notre Dame and just the impact from the quarterback position, I just think of Jack Cohn in so many moments. Who doesn't remember him popping the finger back in? Who don't remember that? I remember it. I'm like, oh, this brother, I don't even, and to come back in and throw a touchdown? Oh, that brother was different. Flash in the pan, 1 year and gone. Tell me a moment CJ got better than that. I'm not saying that CJ's not better. I'm just saying, tell me a moment that you remember as a fan. Because that's what we talking about, fandom. We ain't trying to judge these kids personally, but fandom. Tell me a moment better than that CJ's had. Can't name one. Not yet. But that's what you're expecting from the position this year is if you about to win the Heisman. Come on now. You better win. I need to see a couple of them because that's what matters. Moments matter for the Heisman. We saw it this year, as bland as it was. Mendoza, they could play them highlights of them game-winning drives, and it just, he had them. CJ's got to bank those moments even in this season.
Yeah. Your love for Jack Cohn 500 and a loss in the bowl. Jack, look,
come on now, that brother got legendary stories. 500, we've never done that since.
If Jack Cohn had an offensive line.
If Jack Cohn had this brother was a award. He didn't say much. He played his role as a quarterback. Just the guy that just like Kirk Cousins. They wear the chain on the plane after a big win. G. Willikers, all of that. He was that dude. But he'll go in there and snap his finger back in, throw a touchdown. I'll tell you that. He go in there first game, Florida State in the trenches, throw 5 touchdowns. Tell you that.
Hey, people are lighting him up about that Virginia Tech game. All I know is he got benched, came back, and won the game. Took it down the field and won the game.
With no expectations. This brother was like, the man whole season was moments. He got more moments than Riley Leonard. Come on now.
I don't know about that. Now you're going too far. No, he doesn't.
No. We remember Riley Leonard for doing a helicopter tackle against Georgia. That's a moment.
That's not it, though. That's not it. Stop.
Name another one. We was forcing the ball. Jack Cohn was doing it
what are you talking about?
The star. Jack was doing it when he wasn't the star. Kyron Williams was the star. Jack Cohn was doing it as a complimentary Bruce Bowen, Kawhi Leonard with Tim Duncan type of player.
You just asked me a question.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying, come on, man. Give Jack Cohn respect. Come on now.
You just asked me a question. Penn State, Jaden Greathouse touchdown to tie it up. That's not a moment.
For Jaden Greathouse, he was wide open.
Stop. I don't want to hear that. That's a joint moment. I don't want to hear that.
When ESPN played the highlight, they played Jaden Greathouse the whole time. They didn't even show Riley.
I would agree with they did. How did they not show Riley when they started with the pass?
They just showed the ball land in his hands. They showed they showed before the snap. They showed how it's broken down.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Are moments only in wins? I have to ask that.
Not at all.
The first drive against Ohio State wasn't a moment. I'm just asking.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you the difference.
I'm just asking. 14 plays. That's why I asked
14 plays of them calling it specifically for him, though.
And his they know it's coming.
He went at a 14 plays.
They knew it was coming. Did they know it was coming?
They didn't know Jack was coming. That's what was special. They didn't know Jack was coming. That's the difference.
First of all,
Jack was sneaking up on teams, dominating and coming in clutch. That's different.
You gave 3 moments for Jack Cohn.
I
just gave you 3. What? What more do you have?
What's greater than 500 yards in a bowl game? What has Riley done even close?
That's 3. That's your third one for Jack Cohn. I just gave you.
What does Riley have better than that one?
Okay. Who dominated the beginning of the next game after they lost to Northern Illinois? When everybody had turned their back on Notre Dame, who was the one that came out running over linebackers and everybody to start the Purdue game? Who did that?
I mean, what's that guy?
Who did that? I'm just asking.
The man that the offense was ran through. The man that the offense was ran through.
Okay.
Kyron Williams was the star of that season. Jack Cohn came in like Robin.
Who was the best player?
Saved the day.
Who was the best player on Notre Dame in 2024?
Jeremiah Love.
Okay then.
But that's not how we called. That's not how we called the game. Come on, SD. That's not how we called the game.
Bro,
we called the game for Kyron Williams.
Jack Cohn threw the ball darn near 60 times to get the 500 yards.
That brother was cooking.
You're not running the ball.
Is CJ going to have his game with 60 attempts? Is CJ going to have a game with 60 attempts? Let me know right now. Is CJ going to have a game with 60 attempts?
Never.
And produce the same?
If that was a prop bet, I would say never. I would take the under if that was a prop bet.
So what moment can be better than Jack Cohn? Come on now.
I just gave you 3 moments that Riley Leonard had.
I'm sorry for
CJ. Me a question.
I'm sorry for CJ. Riley Leonard's numbers became relevant when it became relevant for what he had to do. He came in as the hired gun, supposed to be all world. That's not the case for our guy, Jack Cohn, who came in as a supplement. He didn't even play because they were splitting time. He was splitting time. What are we talking about?
I don't refute your argument for one Jack Cohn. I just said when you tried to minimize that Riley Leonard didn't have as many moments, I said, whoa, you need to relax.
Riley Leonard had a couple moments, but none more memorable than Jack. But I digress. I think
the college football playoff is far more memorable than Jack.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Riley Leonard was great. I can't deny that. He's absolutely right.
But CJ Carr has an opportunity to forge his name into that story this year. He has his turn, his opportunity. So we'll wait and see. Let me dig into Notre Dame being ranked 3rd behind Texas and Indiana in the ESPN way too early, top 25. I'll just read you the outlook. After being left out of the CFP, the Fighting Irish should be right back in the mix in 2026. There's no question the Irish will miss Love and Price, who combined to run for 46 yards with 29 touchdowns this past season. Aeneas Williams, who averaged 9.3 yards per carry, is the heir apparent. Quarterback CJ Carr should be even better in his second season as a starter, especially if the Irish can get Graham and Porter going. And Jaden Greathouse returns from a hamstring injury. 9 of the defense's top 10 tacklers are back from 2025. Francis Brew and Keon Keeley were important additions on the defensive line via the portal. Notre Dame figures to be heavily favored in all but 2 games, home against Miami and at BYU. There's little room for error playing a schedule that will be heavily scrutinized when it's CFP selection time. This is what you're talking about, Lev. You kind of talked about that yesterday. Like, how are we scrutinizing the schedule already? How are we scrutinizing the schedule already? And we don't know. Every year there are 2 or 3 teams that jump up and they're better. How are we scrutinizing this schedule? So it's going to be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, to see. I think Notre Dame should be second. I honestly think, looking at the top 10, Indiana, Texas, Notre Dame, Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Miami, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. I would expect Miami to climb. They just got finished with the season. Some of their players are jumping in the portal, but I expect them to attain a quarterback, a big-time quarterback. I think they're going to get a big-time quarterback, and I think they're going to be back in the mix. They lose a lot. They got Jarquez Carter on the D-line from Ohio State. I expect them to get Damon Wilson from Missouri, Omar Thornton, the safety from Boston College, and then they got Dondavius Jacobs and Cam Vaughn, the wide receivers from South Carolina and West Virginia, respectively. I expect them, and I think they should be higher. Ole Miss could be higher depending upon the Trinidad Chandler situation. If he gets that waiver for a 6-year of eligibility, expect them to climb up possibly into the top 5. The Texas A&M Aggies round out the top 10 on this ESPN way too early top 25 for the 2026 season. And Notre Dame's other tough opponent outside of Miami in Provo, the BYU Cougars, come in ranked 11th. Should be pretty interesting. But once again, look, Notre Dame had the toughest start to the season than anybody. They took a bigger risk than anybody else in college football. Notre Dame already has 2 top 10 opponents, in my opinion. They already have 2 top 10 opponents on their schedule. What's to scrutinize? What is there to scrutinize? What is there to scrutinize? I am amazed when people start talking about Notre Dame's schedule. Because really all they need is one of the ACC teams that they face to be a good team. That's all they need. As Marcus Freeman said, it is Notre Dame's job to leave no doubt. When you get an opportunity against good teams, win the games. It's as simple as that for Notre Dame. Whether the field stays at 12, whether it expands to 16, or whether it goes all the way up to 24, you're only making it easier for Notre Dame. You're only making it easier for Notre Dame. But the theme of this season, as Marcus Freeman said and continues to say, leave no doubt. We left doubt for the committee this year, leave no doubt. And that means beat Miami, beat BYU. That's it. You beat those teams, it's nothing anybody else can say. Have your opinions about the schedule. We beat those dudes that are playoff teams. They'll get it done, in my opinion. They'll get it done. Lucky Lefty Podcast. As always, courtesy of Bleav Network, we would love for you guys to check out the audio side. We're presented by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com for your Super Bowl prop bets, for your championship weekend and NFL bets and prop bets. You get that and much more over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. X, Instagram, TikTok at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all. For Left, SD2 mics, enjoy the rest of your evening. Continue to love each other. But most of all, you have to make sure that you continue to spin it different. We'll see you tomorrow.